Update 2. My 29-year-old daughter, who is married, demanded I pay her house rent or she will disown me as her father. Her mom supported her and said, "She is your daughter. You must pay or you will lose both of us." I smiled and said goodbye to them. I will tell you what happened next. She blinked. For a moment, she looked small. Not the woman who had demanded obedience, but a person realizing they'd pushed too far. I didn't wait for a reply. I turned, walked inside, and shut the door behind me. The silence after serving someone divorce papers is nothing like in the movies. There's no screaming in the rain, no dramatic piano music, no last-ditch apologies, just the sound of breath, short, angry, shallow, and the quiet realization that a boundary has finally been drawn in permanent ink. Marcia didn't come to bed that night. I didn't expect her to. She stayed in the master bedroom while I remained in the guest room, the door shut, the television humming softly, not watched, but left on for company. I wasn't grieving the marriage that had died long before the paperwork. I was grieving the illusion that somewhere deep down, if I gave enough, provided enough, stayed long enough, they'd love me for who I was, not what I offered. The morning after, I made myself a cup of coffee, same as always. Marcia stood in the kitchen like a ghost, barely acknowledging me. The paper sat on the table between us like a loaded weapon. She hadn't signed it yet. She was still in the bargaining phase, I think, believing this was just a bluff, that I'd get tired of the Cold War and crawl back into the role of quiet provider. But I wasn't bluffing. Something had snapped in me, not loudly, not violently, but with the quiet finality of a rope pulled too tight for too long. I watched her pretend not to look at me while texting furiously. I already knew who she was texting. Lacey. By that afternoon, I got my first call, from my younger brother Jeff. "What the hell's going on?" he asked, his voice a mix of confusion and concern. "I filed for divorce," I told him flatly. He was quiet for a moment. "Over the rent thing?" "No," I said. "That was just the final straw," Jeff sighed. "You want to talk?" We met later that night at a bar just outside town. Dark, quiet, familiar. We sat in a booth near the back, nursing beers like old men. I told him everything. Lacey's demand. Marcia's ultimatum. The years of being taken for granted. Jeff nodded slowly. "Man, I always thought Marcia was a little, how do I put it, domineering? But I figured it worked for you." "Guess I was wrong." I shrugged. "I let it work for too long. That's on me." He clinked his bottle against mine. Better late than never. But not everyone took it that way. The next morning, my phone buzzed with notifications, texts, missed calls, and then a string of screenshots sent to me by my niece, Rachel. Lacey had gone public. She'd posted a long, passive-aggressive rant on Facebook. No names, but clear enough, when your own father abandons you in your time of need over money, you realize who really loves you. Comments poured in, supportive ones, angry ones, and the worst kind, the vague, pitying praying for you, cis variety. A few extended family members messaged me privately asking for my side. I didn't respond. What bothered me wasn't that Lacey aired our dirty laundry. It was how she twisted the story, not a word about the threat, not a mention of her demand, just a carefully curated narrative where she was the victim and I was a cold, greedy man who discarded his own daughter. I felt my stomach churn, not with guilt, but with disgust. I took a walk to clear my head, circling the neighborhood 3 times before ending up on a bench by the park. I was halfway through my third lap when a voice called out, "Uncle Carl." I turned.